So the desire for artha is the desire for security, desire for kama is for pleasure, and dharma is for punyam. Yeah? So that I will get, some people aim for swarga or a better life, better environment through punya karmas. So this karma kanda, which is a vast section, addresses all these desires, dharma, artha, kama. Yeah? Then the Uttara Bhaga. Uttara Bhaga is the end portion of the Vedas, also called Vedanta or Upanishads. What is that topic there? The earlier part is about fulfillment of desires. Then what is the end portion about? Is about the desirer. Who is it that is desiring and why am I desiring? That is the topic of the Uttara Bhaga or the Upanishads. And hence, the end portion of the Vedas or Upanishads address the mumukshu who wants the moksha pursuit. Yeah? Then how do we choose? Do we go for Purva Bhaga or Uttara Bhaga? It's not a matter of choice. No? It is a question of maturity. So the example is often given of a pole vaulter. In the field athletics, we have the pole vault event. So this pole vaulter, he gathers momentum and then at one moment he jumps, discards the pole and takes the leap. Yeah? So too, the karma kanda helps us process our desires and helps us fulfill them in a legitimate way. And then after a certain point, then the sadhaka takes the leap, but leaves the pole behind. The pole is the karma. So then there is a transition from the karma kanda to the jnana kanda. Yeah? And so the Vedas address all kinds of seekers. The seeker of artha, kama, dharma and moksha. So that is the first guideline. Vedo dityamadhiyatam. Then tat uditam karma svanushthiyatam. So may one devote the first stage, Brahmacharya, studenthood, to the study of the Vedas. Let me know what life is all about, and how to fulfill the desires. Then one enters the Grihastha and tat uditam karma svanushthiyatam. May one perform the karmas mentioned in the Vedas and do anushtanam. So in the earlier Vedic times, people were doing Sandhya Vandanam thrice a day, Agnihotra twice at sunrise, sunset, and many other Vedic rituals. So today, the karmas is what, of course, some people are still doing a fraction of those karmas, but today we understand karma as my present duty, my roles, my swakarma, and also pancha mahayajnas. We talked about that Deva Yajna, Brahma Yajna, Manusha Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, and Bhuta Yajna and Manusha Yajna. 5 yajnas we discussed. So these karmas are to be done in the Grihastha ashrama. Tat uditam karma svanushthiyatam. And also, so these are referred to as nitya naimittika karmas. Nitya karma and occasional karmas. Naimittika karmas when the occasion demands. Like Shraddha, Tarpana, Shivaratri, Navaratri. Now it's coming Uttarayanam karmas will come. So those are the karmas performed in the Grihastha ashrama. Then how to perform those? Third guideline. Tene shasya vidhiyatam. Tena ishasya vidhiyatam apachitihi. So may one perform the karmas as an apachitihi, offering. Yeah? In short, karma yoga. Yogastak kuru karmani sangam tyaktva karotiyah siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. The Bhagavad Gita elaborately talks about how to perform our karmas as an Ishvara Arpanam. Sangam Tyaktva, giving up the attachment to the outcome. What will I get from this karma? No, rather the yogi focuses on the karma to be done. Yeah? to be done, and this frees the mind from unnecessary expectation, anxiety, and turbulence. So karma yoga is, why do we do karma yoga? To gain the purity of mind, chitta shuddhi. Because the raga dveshas in the mind are making my mind turbulent. I love this, I want to do this. I hate this, I want to get away from this situation. Get rid of this thing. So the yogi, what will he do? Samadukhe sukhe kritva labha labhao jaya jayao. Again, Gita chapter 2 has all these important shlokas. How can I be equanimous towards both? Whether it is a favorable situation or an unfavorable situation, I do it as an offering. And when the result comes, I take it as prasada. So, tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matis tyajyatam. So the kamya karmas, even the dharma, artha, kama pursuits which are desire based, that mati, that thinking, may one give away, give it up. Yeah? So this is the karma yoga stage of a brahmachari and a grihastha. So as a result of karma yoga, what happens? The mind becomes very pure and calm. Now remember that example of the lake. So when the lake is cleaned, Ganga cleaning project, then we can look right deep down into the riverbed. So too, I cleanse my mind with this attitude of karma yoga, and that gives me the viveka shakti. Papaughav paridhuyatam. All the papa karma phalams that are waiting in my mind to bear fruit, they are washed away by the attitude of karma yoga. Then bhavasukhe doshonu sandhiyatam. Bhavasukhe. Then I look at this world. What am I doing? This anitya karma pursuits. I begin to see the dosha, the defect. What is the defect in pursuing worldly happiness and finite ends? Only this Viveka Shakti will show me that. It will give me temporary fulfillment. There is effort involved, and then there's a fear of loss. So that is Bhavasukhe Doshonu Sandhiyatam. So you see, Viveka is always between Preyas and Shreyas. These two words are important. Preyas stands for that which is pleasant, attractive, tempting, short-term gains. Yeah? And Shreyas will give me long-term gain, although it means some discipline now. So Shreyas is the good path and Preyas is the pleasant path. So we are all confronted with a choice, Should I go in for junk food or nutritious food? Preyas versus Shreyas. Should I watch a movie or go for satsanga? Yeah. So at every stage, we are at a fork. Yeah. That is the choice which Yamadeva explains to Nachiketa. So may one choose the path of Shreyas, which involves discipline. Some tyaga will be there, but it will give me long-term gain, as opposed to the short-term gratification. Bhavasukhe doshona sandhiyatam. So this is the Viveka Shakti which will only come after Karma Yoga. So the karmis will be so busy fulfilling one desire after the other, so there is no pause button and for the mind to raise such questions. What am I doing? What do I really want? Where am I going? Yeah. So now this Viveka Shakti brings in the Vairagyam. Yeah. What is Vairagyam? The twin brother of Viveka. So once we begin to discriminate between Nitya pursuit and Anitya pursuits, then there will be Vairagyam. Yeah. What will not help me in this pursuit? I don't want. So emotional independence is Vairagyam. Vairagyam does not mean turning away and sitting in some ashram or a cave and meditating, aham brahmasmi. No. So vairagyam is discovering the value of nitya vastu, and viveka vairagya go together. Dispassion or detachment, we say. Yeah. So I discovered the value in this higher pursuit, and automatically the other things are going to drop away. Bhavasukhe doshonu sandhiyatam. Then what happens? Atmecha vyavasiyatam. There is this Atma Ichcha comes in the mind. You know? It is said that for this Atma Ichcha to happen, itself takes thousands of lifetimes. Yeah? Which the Shastra tells, this Atma Ichcha, when it happens only by the grace of Ishvara. Ishvara anugrahena advaita vasana pumsam. Means for the human beings, the moment there is that viveka vairagya and there's a desire for self-knowledge, that means it is a shubha ichcha. That happens only by the grace of Ishvara. Yeah? So this Atma ichcha, once that comes, then this mumukshu nijagriha turnam vinirgamyatam, abandons home and wants to pursue Atma Jnana. Like a Buddha. Remember how Buddha got the Vairagyam? Living in a palace, just went out for an outing. Vairagyam happened and abandoned home. Yeah? So there are a few people who would do this literally. Yeah? There are others like us, we could join short-term courses in our Gurukulams or long-term courses, so that there is a very committed pursuit of Atma Jnana. And also, this means simply also that one gives up the mamakara and ahankara. Yeah? So wherever we are in our own homes and amidst the duties, one can develop the vairagyam and pursue this Atma Jnana. Yeah? More challenging, of course, but not impossible. So, nijagriha turnam vinirgamyatam. Yeah. So now, you see how the first verse, Brahmacharya is over, study period, Grihastha is over, karma period, and one is a mumukshu now and entering Vaanaprastha. Second verse, Sangha Satsu Vidhiyatam. So once there is this Atma Ichcha, what should I do? Satsangatve nissangatvam nissangatve nirmohatvam. In Bhajagovindam, Shankaracharya says that to protect this Atma Ichcha, one has to seek satsanga, the company of the wise and other like-minded devotees. So now we are all having lot of Zoom satsangs. This is a direct satsanga. Then associating with the Shastras. Also where we are having satsanga with the rishis and the avataras. So this satsanga is the one thing that will strengthen this Atma Ichcha, protect it from distractions, and it will help me develop what? Bhagavato bhaktihi dhrida adhiyatam. Bhagavataha bhaktihi, the devotion to the Lord. Now this word bhaktihi is a very is a term used to be understood contextually. Yeah? Initially, what do? We all have a kind of a commercial bhakti, transactional bhakti. Okay, Bhagavan, if I do Tulabharam, then this is my request. You grant me this wish. If I do 108 pradakshinas, then this should happen to me. Yeah. So Bhagavan says, okay, fine, I respect your Shraddha and let me help my devotees out of their distressing situations. But here the mumukshu wants to develop the jignasu bhakti. Yeah? I want Bhagavan, to seek Bhagavan and not what Bhagavan can give. Yeah? So that is mentioned here. Bhagavataha bhaktihi dhrida adhiyatam. So from sakama bhakti, the mumukshu goes for nishkama bhakti, like a Mirabai or a Tyagaraja, so that Parama Jnana Bhakti is mentioned here. Then Shantyadi Parichiyatam. So now it is this Vaanaprastha stage. So Vaanaprastha stage is one has withdrawn from social obligations. The children are grown up. I am retired. So there are no Nitya Naimittika karmas also. And so I can devote full time to Atma Jnanam. So Shantyadi Parichiyatam, may one develop the Shatka Sampattihi, the sixfold inner wealth, which is Shamaha, Damaha, Uparatihi, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. Mastery of the mind, mastery of the sense organs, Damaha, Titiksha, forbearance, Shraddha, Samadhanam, Shamaha, Damaha, Uparatihi, renunciation, prioritization. Yeah? So this is often called as the 4 Ds. Remember? The 4 Ds. And together they are called Sadhana Chatushtayam. Very important topic in Vedanta. So, why, a minority only will study Vedanta? Because this is the qualification. The first is Viveka, discrimination. Vairagyam, dispassion. Shamadhamadi Shatka Sampatihi, disciplines. And Mumukshutvam is desire for moksha. 4 Ds. You can remember as an acronym. So when all these are present in some measure, not in absolute measure, then one is ready to approach the Guru. Yeah? So now this sadhaka or the mumukshu has crossed Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vaanaprastha, Dhridataram karmashu santyajyatam. And all the karmas have also dropped away. Except for minimal karmas will be there. Then verse 2 says Satvidvan upasripyatam pratidinam tatpaduka sevyatam. So may one approach a jnani or a teacher and serve the padukas, serve the guru and ask for this knowledge. A very important thing. Unless we ask for this knowledge, it will not come to us. Yeah? So how do we serve the guru? Also in the Gita there is a verse Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Tatvidhi pranipatena, by doing namaskaras, sevaya, by seva. Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, and asking for this knowledge, pariprashnena. Then definitely when the guru sees the glowing mumukshu, glowing with viveka, vairagyam and thirst for this knowledge, will give this knowledge. No? But today, in this busy time, it's the other way around. The gurus have to, run after the mumukshus. Yeah? And also some students will say, oh Swamini, I am free on Wednesday 11:30 a.m. Please conduct your class at that time. So that's okay. We can always make adjustments. But in the early days, the gurus were not giving the knowledge freely. Yeah? They would test the aspirants, whether they are ready for this knowledge. Now, supposing we give this Upanishad Jnanam to somebody who is not ready for it, then it can be misunderstood. And so the Guru does not want that. And hence Sadhana Chatushtayam is a very important topic called Adhikaritvam, eligibility for receiving this Jnanam. Yeah? Then what does the Guru do? Brahma Eka Aksharam Arthyatam. So the Sadguru or the Jnani will unfold the Eka Aksharam Brahma Tattvam. Yeah? That is the essence of Om. Om is called Eka Aksharam. Just one akshara. And that is the Brahma Vidya. And how does the Guru do that? Shruti Shiro Vakyam Sama Karnyatam. By unfolding the Vedantic equation Tat Tvam Asi. So Tat Tvam Asi is called the Mahavakya. Tat Tvam Asi, that you are not what you take yourself to be, but you are the Paramatattvam, the principle of consciousness, changeless, infinite, limitless. Yeah? And how does the Guru do that? By unfolding also the logic and stories, and by self-inquiry. Remember I told you the story of Bhrigu, the son of Varuna. So Bhrigu, what he did was he plunged into meditations and did self-inquiry. Yeah? Am I this body? No. Why? Because I experience the body. I witness it every day. Am I the mind? Also no. I'm witnessing the changes in my mind. Mind is also an instrument. And so he dismisses all the layers of the personality and comes back to his father and says, yes, Father, I am the experiencer of all the Pancha Koshas. Yeah? And the nature of the experiencer is Tat. And Tat Tvam Asi. So the Guru unfolds this from various angles. So when you do a long-term study in the Gurukulam, we study 10 Upanishads. And they're all full of stories where either the husband is the Guru or the father is the Guru. And giving this upadesha, saying Tattvamasi is a topic, but in various angles and stories, how we can discover the true self, that Atma Tattvam, the witnessing awareness. And that is Shruti Shiro Vakyam. That is to be found in the Shiras of the Shruti. Shiras is the end portion of the Vedas, which is Vedanta. And may one do Sravanam, Samakarnyatam. May one listen carefully. So I told you, Sravanam is listening consistently and systematically to the Vedanta Shastra with a live Guru for a length of time. We may think, I've heard it once, Tattvamasi, one story is enough, one Upanishad is enough. But then we forget. The Maya is so powerful. So when we repeatedly listen, then it takes root in our minds and there is growing clarity. So Shravanam itself will bring about a cognitive transformation in the mind. It will make my thinking structured and the mind will be very clear and calm, and I will be centered in that self-awareness. In fact, it is that awareness, self-awareness, which is lighting up this equipment. Kena Upanishad says that Brahma Tattvam is the Tattvam which makes you listen, by which sight happens, hearing happens, taste, walking, grasping. All the functions and faculties that we are enjoying is by the grace of Atma Tattvam. Yeah? So, just because it is Ashabdam, Arasam, Agandham cannot be experienced as an object, it does not mean that it does not exist. So, in the world, we will find a lot of Dustarka. Yeah? Dustarka means what? Like the Charuvakas. Charuvakas are those who will say, this is the only life. Enjoy, pamper your body, and satisfy all the desires of the mind. You need not repay any debts because there is no afterlife. This is an example of Dustarka. So we want what? Shruti Shiraf Paksha Samashriyatam. Adi Shankaracharya, when you read the biography, Digvijaya, Sringeri publications, very famous publications, is Shankara Digvijaya. Describes the glory of Shankara's life, how he went about encountering all these opponents who said karma is pradhana, who said shunyam is atma, and then he refuted all of them and established the supremacy of Advaita Jnanam, the vision. Not only that, Shankaracharya unified the whole country, established the important Vedic temple rituals. And today what we have as Hinduism is thanks to the great Adi Shankaracharya. In a short span of 32 years, he has contributed so much to the whole world. So, Dustarkat Suviramyatam. So, may one not succumb to the Dustarkas, but hold on to the Shruti Shiraf Pakshaha. the vision of the scriptures. Shruti matas tarkaha anusandhiyatam. Follow the reasoning. So one method of reasoning is what? The drikdrishya viveka. Whatever is experienced by my jnanendriyani, I cannot be that. Yeah? So I am the Atma Jyoti, which is lighting up these equipments. So now we enter the rest of the third word. Then what? So the earlier two stages, after Sravanam, one does Mananam. Yeah, Mananam is dispelling the doubts in the mind. How can I be Brahma? I cannot see Brahma. So we have to do what Bhrigu did. Plunge into self-inquiry. And Brahma aham asmi iti vibhavyatam. Meditate. Here comes Ndidhyaasanam. So Vedantic contemplation is to meditate on the Atma Tattvam. How will I do that? By taking a word like Om, Purnaha, Nityaha, Nityashuddhaha, and then meditating upon that. So that is why this meditation called Ndidhyaasanam can only happen after Sravanam and Mananam. So now this sannyasi sadhaka is going through Jnana Yoga. So you see the stages. Karma Yoga has purified my mind of the impurities, raga dveshas, has minimized it. Then the bhakti and satsanga and upasanas, all the parayanam that I am doing, they are making my mind very steady. Then one approached the Guru and asked for this knowledge. Then follows Jnana Yoga, Shravanam, Mananam, Ndidhyaasanam. This is Ndidhyaasanam, where one looks at oneself, being oneself. Then ahaha garva parityajyatam. So I have an identity. When I'm born, there is a nakshatra, there is a gotra, there is a namakaranam. So I am, very much identified with all that. But now, the Vedanta Shastras show me that my true nature is Sat Chit Ananda. My name is Om. Yeah. So I give up the responses which are based on the body and the mind. So the identification with the upadhi, the body and mind, will be minimal. If somebody calls me, oh Swamini, I have to turn back and look. That will be there. But I never forget my true essence, the core identity. That is meant by ahaha garva parityajyatam. Dehe aham matihi ujyatam. So may one look at the body and the mind and the sense organs as value additions, bonus. Yeah? So I am already limitless, infinite Param Brahma. And in addition, I am endowed with this kshetram, this upadhi, by which I transact with the world. And for a jnani, this transaction also will be minimum. Some bhiksha will be taken, and if somebody asks, it will be answered. So that is that thinking. Body-centered actions and mind-centered actions will be minimum. Buddha janaihi vada parityajyatam. And may one not argue with Mahatmas and wise people. Yeah? Rather, may one listen to what they have to offer. So now we see that the first 3 verses, they have completed the 4 stages of the Vedic-based human life. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vaanaprastha and sannyasa. So whether we take formal sannyasa or not is not the question here. Sannyasa is the inner coloring. The inner coloring and the ripening. Yeah. Now in this 4th verse, some practical guidelines Shankara gives to this sadhaka so that one can pursue this Atma Jnanam in a more committed way. The first 2 lines we saw is about food regulations. Kshuddha means hunger. So may the disease of hunger be cured by the medicine of bhiksha. So hunger is compared to a disease. Yeah? And may one treat this hunger like disease. Chikitsa, may one do chikitsa how? By bhiksha. So bhiksha is the aushadam. Bhiksha is that which is given. We offer bhikshas to swamis and swaminis, and also we offer bhiksha to sadhus. Yeah, why? Because they have no income of their own. And so that is the attitude one must have. The bhiksha aushadam bhujyatam daily. Yeah. Then svatvanam natu yachatam. May one not demand tasty food. Yeah. Obviously we see the sequence, no? When I'm not identified with my body and mind, then obviously I will just want enough, bhiksha to keep the body going and to focus more on the Sravanam, Mananam, Ndidhyaasanam. So svadu anna natu yachyatam. Vidhi vashat praptena santushyatam. So whatever the vidhi, the prarabdha brings, may one be satisfied with that. Yeah? May one not be anxious, where my food will come from, what kind of food it will be. In Rishikesh, when you go, the sadhus will have one, what is it called? Took. Tamil la tookun challuvalya. One container with a handle. So they go for bhiksha to various ashrams, and everything will be put in that one container. Dal, chawal, roti, sabji. So it will become one big khichdi. And they come back and have that. Yeah? So there is no thali separately you will have, because their mind is always wants to tune into the Paramatattvam. Yeah? So I was reminded of this incident with Puja Swamiji. When Swamiji was doing his Jnana Yajnas, so they will be going from city to city, doing the Gita Jnana Yajna or teaching some Shastra as a public program. So in every city, some Grihasthas will invite Swamiji for bhiksha. Yeah, it's considered a great punya karma to invite a sadhu for bhiksha and to give dakshina at the end. So I remember Puja Swamiji was also invited, and the Brahmacharis also tag along. And so in one particular home, the banana leaf was spread out and all the items were served. And one item was karela, pavaka, bitter gourd. Yeah. So when that was served, not everybody likes bitter gourd. And Swamiji also, did not like bitter gourd. But then Swamiji has one principle. The most difficult item will be dealt with first. So then Puja Swamiji finished the bitter gourd first. Saptita, pavaka, epidio. Then what will the hostess think? The Swamiji must be liking bitter gourd. So then she put another helping of the bitter gourd. So Swamiji said, oh my God, another helping has come. But what to do? You cannot waste also. Then Swamiji had that also. Then the Jnana Yajna ended there. And the next city, what happens? Another Grihastha calls Swamiji for bhiksha. And she has already asked the previous Grihani, what did Swamiji like the most? And she is told, Karela, the bitter gourd. So like that, wherever Swamiji went, he was served this dish. Yeah. Some people like it actually. It's very good for diabetics also. Then finally Swamiji told us that after 5 cities, I began liking Karela. I had no choice. So that is the attitude of a jnani. If you get something that is tasty and likable, fine. If not, also fine. Svadu annam natu yachatam. Yeah. So the first 2 lines are about food. Then Shitoshnadi vishahyatam natu vritha vakyam samucharyatam. So this is about titiksha. Shita, Ushna, Labha, Alabha, Jaya, Ajaya. So we find that we are faced with all situations, favorable, unfavorable, gain, loss, victory, defeat, success, failure. And Gita also tells us, Tan Titikshasva Bharata. So may one endure both the polarities with samatva bhava. Natu vritha vakyam samucharyatam. So may one not indulge in idle gossip or chatting. Nowadays the WhatsApp chatting and everything has increased via social media, browsing. So all this is dissipating the mental energy. So the jnani or the sadhaka is very careful. The speech should be satyam, truth, and it should be hitam, beneficial, and priyam, pleasing. So when you have to say something, we say it. If not, we keep maunam. So this way the energy is conserved for higher pursuits. Then audasinyam abhipsyatam. May one be a neutral witness to the world around me. Now, when we have this neutral attitude, then we don't take sides. So there is the inner peace, which I need for Sravanam, Mananam and Ndidhyaasanam. And also because now the sadhaka is not identifying with the body and mind equipment. So when there is the Atma darshanam, then where is the need to take sides? So then there is the feeling that things will happen on their own. Swami Vivekananda said, if we try to straighten things in the world, this is not proper, this is not how it should be, then it is like wanting to uncurl the tail of a dog. I uncurl it, and when I let go, it curls back. So there will always be, the world will be the way it is. There were always problems in the world. There are even now. They will continue to be. So the sadhaka here is very careful of the time spent on all this food, speech, on the pursuits, vyavahara, interactions. Audasinyam abhipsitam. Then janakripa naishturyam utsrijyatam. So the public, if we are at the mercy of public, then one day there will be praise and the same public will criticize us. You see the elections, they will elect one person and the next they'll just kick that person away and a new person comes up. So I don't want to be at the mercy of either of the two. I don't internalize either praise, I don't take it seriously, or blame and criticism. Because also Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha. So when the sadhaka has discovered the inner source of security, peace and contentment, then why should I emotionally depend on an external factor for all this? No? So why should I wait till my spouse says, I love you, or my children, they have to tell me I love you and be with me all the time. So here the emotional independence is talked about. The more I strengthen myself through the Atma Tattva, the more I am free from dependence. And emotional dependence is the source of a lot of suffering and samsara. So here in this verse 4, we see some practical guidelines given by Acharya on the life. Then the last verse is again back to Ndidhyaasanam. Ekante sukhamasyatam paratare chetas samadhiyatam. So may one take some time out to be in ekantam. Ekanta means being with oneself comfortably. Sukham asyatam. Choose a time of the day, choose a place where we are not likely to be disturbed, and then fix the mind on parataram. Paratare chetas samadhiyatam. and fixing the mind on Parabrahma. Yeah? Purnatma susamikshatam. So, may I discover my true nature as Purnam. Remember the way the Purva Bhaga was? I am Apurna. Only if this desire is fulfilled will I be happy and secure and peaceful. But the Jnana Kanda, what does it tell us? You are already that which you are seeking. You are seeking security. You are seeking peace. You are seeking happiness. You are that. You are Purnatma. But because of the state of the mind, I was not aware or able to recognize this. Now through this, all these stages of maturity and clarity and inner growth, I am able to get a glimpse of that Purna Atma Tattvam that I am. Yeah? So that comes from Ndidhyaasanam, Purnatma Susamikshatam. Then what? Jagat idam tatpaditam drishyatam. So the Jagat is seen as badhitam. Like when we get up in the morning, we see the sun rising in the east and traveling in the sky and setting in the west. But we know the sun doesn't really rise, nor does it really set. But we accept it. This is called badhitam jnanam. To be aware of the experiences, but to know that they are not really true. So this Jagat, and in which my body-mind sense complex is also a part of the Jagat, is useful, is a relative reality, but I don't give it the absolute status. So one example we saw in Dakshinamurti Stotram is, the Jagat is like my reflection in a mirror. No? So when I look at myself in the mirror, it's useful to put my makeup on, but I don't mistake the reflection to be myself. So too the Jnani has a very objective interaction with the Jagat, but always he will be aware of the true nature, that I am Satyam and Jagat is Mithya. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. The famous line attributed to Shankara, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Yeah? So that is in the last verse, and in the end we find Prakarma Pravilapita. The last two lines are about the threefold karmas. So what happens to the Jnani's karmas? The one who has discovered the vision, who's living a peaceful life. Are there no karmas? What about the sanchita karma, accumulated karma, prak karma? Pravilapyatam. Pravilapyatam means actually burnt. Jnanagni bhasmasat kurute tatha. Gita says, the one who gains Atma Jnanam, the entire accumulated store of karma that are waiting to bear fruit in future births, they all get burnt. Then what about Uttara karmas? Chitibalat na abhi uttarehi shlishyatam. We saw how from the Sanchita store, one portion is my prarabdha in this janma. The package of this janma, which is unfolding every moment, which includes parentage, lifespan, all the situations, experiences I have to undergo. So, what does the Jnani do with the prarabdha karma? Is it there or not? Yes. The Jnani's body will continue, his mind continues till the prarabdha is there. Yeah? But for a Jnani, it is like watching an entertaining movie. So Ramana Maharshi would give this example. He'll say, supposing you are watching a movie and there is a fire in the movie. Will you get up and try to put out the fire? No. You just enjoy it. So for a Jnani, the whole world, which includes the body, mind, sense complex, is going through a situation, but I am able to watch it. So the witnessing awareness is there and effortless for this Jnani. But for us who are still sadhakas, what happens? Even as we are exhausting the prarabdha karma, one can generate fresh karmas. So that is called agami. And in this verse, Shankaracharya calls it uttara karmas, which are going to come. And I always give the example, of an agami karma is when we forward the WhatsApp videos and photos, that is definitely agami karma. We should not do that. So when we, forward unnecessary videos and photos from internet without verifying whether it's authentic, then the receivers have to read it, and then further thoughts will be generated. They have to delete it, or they also forward. So this is a small example of agami karmas. Yeah? So already there is a momentum generated, prarabdha karma. So the jnani exhausts that karma. But again, the karma is happening to the body and the mind. But the jnani remains as a indifferent witness. Yeah? So he enjoys. Yeah? So when Pujya Swamiji had a hairline fracture in his leg and there was a whole cast, so he said, I'm fine. Nothing has happened to me. Which means nothing happens to Atma Tattvam. So whatever is happening, changes are happening to the kshetram, upadhi. Yeah? But I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. So that is such an effortless understanding for the jnani. Just like, all of us. Will I ever have to think that I am a woman? No. It's very evident to me. A man will think he is a man and a woman will think she is a woman. There's no doubt about it. So too the jnani's understanding of the Atma Tattvam is so natural and effortless that everything else is just a shadow, a reflection. Yeah? So that is what we saw in the last verse about the three karmas. Sanchita and agami karmas are burnt by jnanagni, fire of knowledge. And prarabdham continues, but it is also as good as not there. Yeah? It's like a dream experience. When we get up after a dream experience, it doesn't bother us. Yeah? So like that, the jnani has woken up. We often say the jnani who has woken up is the super waker. Right now, we are all awake, hopefully. So, we are all awake, and then we go through dream, sleep, waking stage. Dream, sleep, waking stage. The three avasthas rotate every day. But the jnani is the super waker. He has woken up from the dream of life. In this Dhanurmasam, we are hearing these beautiful pasurams, Andal, Nachiyar's beautiful pasurams. Ezhupra, Thori, Ellarum. This is nothing but, get up, let us go for Narayana darshanam. So we want that Atma darshanam, and let us wake up from the avidya nidra, sleep of ignorance. Yeah? And then the last line is, Atha para brahmatmana sthiyatam. And such a jnani abides in his true nature. Yeah, which is Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha. So we see that so the jnani abides as the core essence, the Atma Jyoti. And the Jagat is a reality, but it is a relative reality. Yeah? And the jnani, not only does he see himself as Atma Jyoti, but everyone else also. The whole world is seen as the manifestation of the divine. Yeah? Now, we see that we are all caught in the cycle of karma, right? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. So these guidelines are also karmas. Yeah? So how does karma begin? Karma begins at the level of thought. Yeah? So the level of thought is the thought, when it becomes intense, becomes karma. Karma becomes karma phalam. Karma phalam is twofold, papa punyam. Papa punyam will necessitate janma, and I'm back to karma, field. Yeah? So this is what Shankaracharya calls avidya, kama, karma, karma phalam, janma cycle. Avidya. Because I'm ignorant of Atma Tattvam, I'm performing karmas. And then because of karmas, I have to experience a result. And to experience a result, I need a body. And for that, there is punarjanma. Yeah? So then what is the solution? Atma Jnanam. No? Jumping out of the cycle of karma can only happen by that pole vaulter. No? By taking the jump to the Jnana Kanda or the topic of the Upanishads. Yeah? So we see that just even when we study the Shastras, it brings about a very structured thinking. Yeah? And there will be cognitive transformation in the mind. Yeah? But a few suggestions are given to sadhakas on how to manage the mind. Because the mind is the culprit. No? Manaha eva karanam bandha mokshayoho manushyanam. The mind is going to release us from the cycle, and the mind will bind us also deeper into the cycle. No? So these guidelines goes through the 4 stages of life, the Purusharthas. You see that ultimately it comes to mind management. So how to manage the mind? There are all these techniques. The foremost is japa. Yeah? Japa is the repetition of a mantra. Yeah? I'm sure all of us are doing this japam. But I would say the Gayatri mantra is the best mantra for japa. Om bhur bhuvasvaha tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Dhiyo yo naha. Naha means us. So the Gayatri mantra is a collective prayer to the Bhagavan residing in the solar orb to burn the confusion in my mind and to give, not mine, our minds, and to give a radiant intellect. Because we see today, are we not the result of our decisions that we made in the past? So if I want a very clear intellect, then I can chant the Gayatri mantra. Yeah, so Puja Swamiji never discriminated against girls. He said it used to be in Vedic times, even girls were given the Gayatri mantra. In between it, the practice was discontinued. So it is a collective prayer which purifies the mind and helps me in making the proper decisions. Yeah? Then we have the meditations. Every day if I take some time to meditate on a Gita shloka, ekantam sukhamasyatam, then I am also freeing the mind from this karma cycle. Yeah? And then we should see the 40 guidelines. It is not like a novel, it is happening to some sadhaka. It is us. So we have to see which stage of life am I in. Yeah? So how can I do the karma yoga? How can I fit in upasanas? So have a routine every day. So when we were brahmacharis and brahmacharinis, we had a spiritual diary. So every day we would record, how many asanas I did, and which virtue am I trying to develop now, and which vice, negative quality I'm trying to eradicate, when did I wake up. So like that spiritual diary is there on a weekly basis. So that keeps track of our progress. So karma yoga, bhakti yoga purifies the mind, steadies the mind. Meditation structures the mind and gives clear thinking. Yeah? And then even just the Shastra studies, when I continue the studies like Gita, then it also clarifies my intellect. And then I grow in that inner awareness or consciousness. Yeah? So in Vedanta, it's inside out. The Atma Tattvam is sustaining my equipment, the body, mind, sense organs, through which I am perceiving the world. Yeah? So the world is not outside. The world is in my mind, and the mind is lit up by the Atma Tattvam, and that Atma Tattvam is my core essence. Yeah? In fact, the Taittiriya Upanishad talks about this, that the one who gains Atma Jnanam, so that person will gain everything. Possessions, riches, name, fame, Brahmavarchas. Yeah, all this will come and attach themselves to the person who is growing in that awareness. Yeah? So, at the end, I would like to chant those mantras from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Annavanannado bhavati Mahan bhavati prajaya pashubhir brahmavarchasena mahan kirtya. So now I will just chant all the shlokas and you can follow on the screen. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karma svanushthiyatam tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matistyajyatam papavbhav paridhuyatam bhavasukhe dosho nusandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagrahat turnam vinirgamyatam sangasatsu vidhiyatam bhagavato bhaktirdhridadhiyatam shantyadif parichiyatam Paridriyatam dhridataram karmashu santyajyatam satvidvanupasripyatam pratidinam tatpaduka sevyatam brahmaikaksharamardhyatam shrutishiro vakyam samakarnyatam vakyarthascha vicharyatam shrutishirah pakshas samashriyatam Dustarkat suviramyatam shrutimatastarko nusandhiyatam brahmasmiti vibhavyatam aharahat garvah parityajyatam deheham matirujyatam buddhajaneir vadah parityajyatam kshutvyaadhischa chikitsatam pratidinam bhikshaushadam bhujyatam Svadharnam natu yachyatam vidivashat praptena santushyatam Shitoshnadi vishahyatam natu vritha vakyam samucharyatam Audasinyam abhipsyatam janakripa naishturyamutssrujyatam Ekante sukhamasyatam paratare chetas samadhiyatam Purnatma susamikshyatam Jagadidam tadbadhitam drishyatam Prakarma pravilapyatam Chitibalat napyuttarai shlishyatam Prarabdham tviha bhujyatam Atha para brahmatmana sthiyatam Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Tat Sat